Good morning, readers. Today, we will be working on reading closely. As you know, we talked about this yesterday, but we're going to dig a little deeper and talk more about it today. If you haven't already done so, get out your reading learning intention sheet and fill it out. Today's date is November 10th. If you know the book you'll be reading, fill in the book I am reading is. And then today, as a reader, I am working on reading closely. Readers, yesterday we talked about reading closely, and we did that through our Oreo activity. I want you to take a moment and think about everything that we learned through that activity. Turn and talk with your partner right now about what you learned. What are some of the ways that we can be close readers? Let's make a list together. Readers, I hope that some of the things that you came up with were reading a text more than once, taking notes, asking questions, and thinking about the text. I hope that you came up with many more than that, but I hope at least these 4 were on your list. Readers, we will learn some other ways that we can read closely. We will add to our reading closely knowledge. I'd like you to take a look at this chart. It says close readers read carefully and get the gist. That means that the first time they read, they're reading it carefully and they're getting what the article or the book or the text is mostly about. They're asking questions. They're thinking about what they notice right away. They're circling words that they don't understand. And they're using context clues to figure out unknown words. So that's all with the first read. Of course, then close readers go on to a second read. And with this read, they're really digging deeper. So, they're answering the questions, why did the author write the text? They're thinking about that as they read. What text features stand out? Remember that text features are things like text boxes and quotes and pictures and captions and things like that. They're underlining key vocabulary words, and they are summarizing the text. So after a second read, that would be when you would stop and write a stop and jot. Ooh, this is something that we haven't talked about yet. Close readers often do a third read. So that means that close readers read it one more time and think. They think about what inferences they can make about the text, what connections they can make about the text. They answer questions that they may have had while reading during the first or second reads, and then they gather evidence from the text, all the while taking notes with those stop and jots. So they may be writing down their inferences or their connections or the answers to their questions or evidence that they have gathered. So readers, we're going to use this chart as we closely read part of our Wolves book. Through our first, second, and third reads, we will write on this close reading sheet. So this is the first page of the Wolves book, and we're going to do what we're going to call our first read. Imagine snow falling silently in the great woodlands of North America. The only sounds are from the trees creaking and tossing in the wind. Suddenly the quiet is broken by the eerie howling of a wolf, and all the frightening stories and legends that you've heard about the treacherous and sly wolf and the evil werewolf begin to race through your mind. But what is this animal of our imagination truly like? Are wolves savage and destructive hunters of people and livestock? Or are they one of nature's most misunderstood creatures? Is it possible that people don't like wolves because they don't know very much about them? For example, there is no record of a healthy wolf ever trying to kill a human in North America. Perhaps by learning about the wolf and how it lives in the natural world, we can begin to tell the difference between the real animal, and the fables we've created. Readers, right now you're going to write one thought down. Remember, readers, that with our first read, we're thinking, what is the text mainly about? What questions are you asking yourself? What do you notice right away? Circle anything that you don't understand. Go ahead and do that now. Readers, as we read for a second time, we're going to dig just a little deeper. We're going to think, why did the author write the text? What text features stand out? And we're going to underline some key vocabulary words. And finally, we will summarize the text. So as we're reading, think about, why did the author write the text? Imagine snow falling silently in the great woodlands of North America. The only sound are from trees creaking and tossing in the wind. Suddenly, the quiet is broken by the eerie howling of a wolf and all the frightening stories and legends that you've heard about the treacherous and sly wolf and the evil werewolf begin to race through your mind. But what is this animal of our imagination truly like? Are wolves savage and destructive hunters of people and livestock? Or are they one of nature's most misunderstood creatures? It is possible that people don't like wolves because they don't know very much about them. For example, there is no record of a healthy wolf ever trying to kill a human in North America. Perhaps by learning about the wolf and how it lives in the natural world, we can begin to tell the difference between the real animal and the fables we've created. Readers, you can see that as I read, I underlined some words that the author was using to describe the wolf: eerie, treacherous, evil werewolf, sly, destructive, savage. Readers, the author was trying to make a picture in our mind. Turn and tell your partner what kind of picture the author was trying to get us to see. Readers, now I want you to think, what was the author trying to tell us? I would also like you to summarize the text. Let's do this together. When we're thinking about summarizing the text, we're thinking about telling what the text was mostly about. So remember, this is our second reading. And we're thinking that the text was mostly about the perception of wolves, or what people think about wolves. So I'm going to write that down now. Readers, these are the notes from the second read that I wrote. So I thought about why the author wrote the text, and I summarized the text. The author was writing about what people think about wolves. That's my main idea. The author stated that people are scared of wolves and usually think about them as sly and evil. The author then stated that there is no record of a wolf attacking a human. I think the author wanted us to realize that wolves should not be feared. Readers, after your second read, you're going to do a third read. Now, this might feel like a lot of reading, but if we're being really good close readers, then we're learning a lot from the text. So, if you look at what we do during the third read, it says, what inferences did you make about the text? What connections did you make to the text? And you're going to use the text to answer any questions that you may have. So that means that we're going to read the text a third time. For this time, I want you to read the text silently to yourselves. You're going to give a thumb up when you are done reading the text. Readers, as I read a third time, I was thinking about what inferences I could make from the text. And I was thinking that I could infer that the author really likes wolves. They talk really positively about wolves. I was thinking that I could also infer that even though it's nonfiction and the author is not trying to convince us of anything, they may want us to know that wolves are not dangerous to humans. I was also looking at it and I was thinking about what connections I could make. And I was thinking that we've read other books about wolves, and I think that there are lots of similarities between this book and the other books that I've read about wolves. Like I think in the Face-to-Face Wolves book, the author also likes wolves. As a matter of fact, he talks about how he tracked a pack of wolves in Minnesota. So I would write that down for my third reading. I'm going to do that now. Readers, after my third read, this is my stop and jot. The author of this book likes wolves and wants people to understand that they shouldn't be afraid of wolves. This book reminds me of the Face-to-Face with Wolves book written by Jim Brandenburg. In this book, the author talks about tracking wolves in Minnesota. He, too, likes wolves a lot. Readers, as you read today, you are going to use this close reading chart to help you remember what close readers do. You are also going to use this sheet that I just wrote about my second and third read of the text as you read a book. So you're going to put the title of the book you read in the center, and then you are going to take a note after your first read, after your second read, and after your third read. And then any extra things that you think you need to remember, like vocabulary words or interesting things that you came across, you can put in the notes section. Readers, as we go through this unit, this close reading form will be available to you to remind you to read closely. So you'll get one today, but you can always grab another as you need it. Let's make it a successful reading day.